Hey guys. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. Uh so I was gonna actually go live an hour ago, but I was out on a DoorDash delivery. Alright. So we've had a lot going on. Uh we're basically gonna be playing catch up tonight. I'm gonna turn this, you guys can see the TV. We're definitely gonna have quite a few things to get through tonight. You know what? I'm gonna take that out of there. Don't need that in there when I'm doing a live video. Aaron gave me his old external hard drive.
Go lay down.
So I could use it. Alright, like I said, we've had a lot going on. This is basically a catch-up video. I was going to do a live Monday and ended up being sick for a couple of days, so yeah. I think it was something I ate Sunday night because I didn't have any of the sick stuff along with anything. Like, I didn't have a fever or like, I ended up throwing up, had diarrhea. I think it was more like something bad that I ate, so. But I'm better now. I even bought a salad from Marco's. So I hope everybody is doing good. Hi, Mandy, if that's you that I just saw on there. I know you have issues with your internet. I'm gonna have to do this over here. I'm gonna split this between you and I. Make sure you drink that down because it could be a lack of potassium. And if that's the case, that will help. Because it solved my issue. Your body needs potassium. Anyway, yeah, so got us a salad from Marco's tonight because I wanted salad really bad. I didn't really have the stuff to make it. Not a good one anyway. Do you want to use the ranch out of the fridge or these?
I can use the ranch out of the fridge. You can use those.
Okay. Now I've got room over here. 2 of my seed packets. Vegetable spaghetti squash. And chives. I think it's the garlic chives. Sorry, I couldn't get it in the camera. Alright, so like I said, there's been lots going on. I only have stuff written down from Full Spectrum. I don't know if I'm going to play all of these. This was from the morning 2 days ago.
Good morning, everyone.
So we're just going to get right into this because this is a catch-up video and it's going to be kind of long. I want to talk about some different things as well.
There was a spreading virus on a cruise ship that was already caused.
Probably only going to do like about half
of
each
many
of
other people.
these, maybe.
The local virologists believe that this may be a mutated form of the hantavirus, where up to 50% of the people who have contracted it have succumbed to those infections. Right now, the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, has ordered all the ships in the region to immediately evacuate, move to Dubai. They say that the consequences are their responsibility.
The way I always
now, I just recently saw some video footage and some satellite images showing that Iran was possibly remining the Strait of Hormuz. This is setting up to be a much larger conflict. Now, the U.S. has significant assets in the region
All right.
in which Iran just told
Time to
people
make
to
the
evacuate.
salads.
Iran's foreign minister
Well,
said that the U.S.
divide
has
it up.
used
That
this
was
area
right.
as a launching point for attacks on Iran's Karg Island, and that this would be a major point of this coming conflict.
Okay.
Here in the USA, we see a staggering 78% of farmers say that they cannot afford the fertilizer that they need for the year 2026. Food shortages are coming. Supply chain issues are coming.
Man, I'm shaking.
I'm begging you and your family to spend what
Probably
you
'cause I'm
can
cold.
wisely
Why are
to
you
get
so
staple
cold?
foods that
I
are
don't
going
know.
to double in price.
It's
If
not
that's no
cold in
other
here.
reason,
I know it's
you'll
not.
have hedged against the inflation that's about to come. So this is the highest amount of farmers ever in the history of the United States of America that have said that they do not have what they need to plant the crops that feed our country. The region's most vulnerable areas are coming down to a severe choice. Either do not plant at all and claim bankruptcy, or put 15-20% in the ground. Only 19% of farmers in a certain area locked in their fertilizer ahead of time. This is far behind some of the other regions. This trails both the Northeast and the West, and the hesitation is now one of the most costly in American history. From cotton to rice to peanuts to corn, these farmers produce massive amounts, especially in the South. So think of gas prices going up when the ethanol from the corn goes up. These are the most fertilizer intensive crops. Rice costs over $1,300 per acre to produce, peanuts more than $1,000, cotton nearly $1,000, far higher than wheat and soybean. No one is talking about the fact that closing the Strait of Hormuz is the equivalent of a long duration war. And some people say it might as well be a nuclear war. It's almost as if both sides of this conflict see it as a status quo. Fertilizer is the biggest issue, up to 20% of the global oil supply, guaranteed to cause society-wide collapse. I'm seeing right now videos out of European countries, Australia, multiple areas in the Middle East, where guys with firearms are running in vehicles just to go steal gas from other vehicles. That's like Mad Max style collapse. The breakdown of supply chains in an event like this will rapidly escalate. We will see possibly a large scale fallout from it. What most people don't think about is that our modern world today relies on a heavy electrified, integrated, computerized, communicating, just-in-time system. And what they have just done is broken down that system. Now, folks, China's Ministry of Commerce, they issued a formal injunction. They said that this was aimed at countering U.S. sanctions against domestic refineries that are accused of processing the oil that China gets from Iran. Reports now are saying that these depots have called this a direct challenge to Washington's so-called long arm of jurisdiction. This move is a representative, notable escalation in the contest over global energy markets. Now, what America is trying to do is stop China from being able to supply energy. What China is doing is going to stop America from being supplied anything. Up to 80% of the items on a shelf at big box stores come from directly China or are directly supplied on Chinese ships. Now, the Commerce Ministry has just made it so that they can, in fact, stop supplying America with anything that they need to in order to win World War III. Folks, I want to go ahead and look at some of what we are seeing today in the world around us. I want you and your family, I'd be honored every day of scrolling so that you don't have to. The Swedish Coast Guard, they boarded a vessel that is suspected of being part of Russia's shadow fleet. Now, is it just me? Or have now the Somali pirates taken over oil tankers? The Americans have taken over oil tankers. the Iranians have taken over oil tankers, and the Chinese have taken over oil tankers. This is, if you look at the big picture, this is something we've never seen happen before. Why has sudden piracy of energy become a common act in 2026? Something much, much bigger is happening behind the scenes here.
Is it on the
This
same
is a
side?
video showing
Or if it
Alberta,
has anything
multiple
to do with
areas
that.
trying to separate from Canada.
Oh,
This is
gosh.
a first time that separatists have cleared a way for a referendum to no longer be Canadian, but possibly become part of the United States of America. Now, there's an ongoing campaign of issues between the Albertans, between law enforcement, between the larger government of Canada, but I can tell you right now that the United States of America is backing this.
Sorry, guys, I'm hungry.
Now, I want to remind you and your family that while they tell you bunkers are for crazy conspiracy theorists, tinfoil hats don't work, food supplies are for hoarders, people who want extra medicine are just probably drug addicts, that here we have a U.S. congressperson, and you might have seen this before, showing the bunker that is hidden in a tunnel deep underneath the U.S. Capitol building in Washington.
I'm hungry.
One of the neat things.
Trying to get our
about
salads
the US Capitol, of course, this
separated and split up.
construction started in the 1700s. And there are all sorts of little hidden passageways. We saw it over this cover up.
So why do the people in power get to have escape plans, evacuation plans, bunkers, privatized armies, massive amounts of food? And you know, my brother just brought up a key point to me yesterday. He said, why does it seem like all of our meat products suck? You go to the store and all the meat that you get, it's almost like the lowest grade you could have gotten in 2018, or even worse. The chicken smells bad after 18 hours. The red meat, not only does it cost 4 times as much, it also doesn't taste like it used to. It's not just our taste, folks. This is a worldwide problem. I dug deep into this, and the most information
People are talking about it all over the place.
is
The
that
meat
they have
is not the
separated
same.
through conglomerization. The meat processors in the USA have separated 2 basic tier systems. One goes to high-end restaurants. The other tier is everybody else. What you get at the grocery store, what the lower tier restaurants get, we all get the same garbage. It's packed full of solvents to keep it seeming fresh, and they just started taking everything. They just throw it in here, macerate it, basically liquefy all of the garbage of the meat, pack it back in there, and call it natural flavor. And so it is 100% beef, because they took the skin and hair of that cow, somehow chemicalized and liquefied it, and now they jam it back into your meat, and it's natural flavor. But what it has done is added packing weight, extra weight, made it taste like garbage, and that's what they feed to us useless eater cockroaches. Now let's listen to what Trump has to say here. A little hard to hear him because of the helicopter or the plane in the background.
Correct. It'd be a start for them to build up again.
So here Donald Trump says that the United States of America's end game is to fully eliminate all Iranian missile production capabilities. There's an understanding that if we wipe out the country of Iran as a nation, then we will be able to truly negotiate, because they will have no capability. We just set them back right now. And if anyone knows, I've had setbacks in my life and came back. You might have had setbacks in your life and you've come back.
So
There's nothing that's going to stop the country of Iran from coming back. We just stepped them back a couple of steps, kind of knocked them down on the butt. And they're saying, hey,
you
wipe
can
it
get
off.
the
Let's see what we've got from here.
I don't know where you want to put it.
If the USA does
I
not
have it on
go
there
in and completely
because I need that.
demoralize the country,
Of course.
they will come back harder, stronger, with nuclear weapons, and capable of showing the rest of the world that the USA is really absolute garbage. So this is a pretty scary position for our country entirely. Pull out the honor every day of scrolling so that you and your family don't have to, but you'll still be aware of everything that's going on. Please make sure you are subscribed and hype this video if you see the option.
Okay, so a
Let's get started.
little bit more of that one play than I was going to. I'm gonna skip to the next one.
Then fighter planes to protect freighters that are leaving the strait. Good morning, everyone. Tuesday, May the 5th.
So this was
You're
yesterday
watching Full
morning.
Spectrum Survival for this morning's breaking news alert. Admiral Brad Cooper, the head of CENTCOM in the USA, just said that the United States military is proving to have been able to clear a pathway in the Strait of Hormuz that is free of Iranian mining efforts. They say that they will now begin the long and drawn-out series of events that allows commercial vessels to transit that waterway. They've also said that the U.S. military has set up a so-called protective or defensive umbrella. This includes the use of American helicopters and fighter planes to protect freighters that are leaving the strait.
Tomatoes and everything.
We saw this in action yesterday. The U.S. military engaged multiple Iranian fast attack ships. These were ships that were meant to go on and board and seize some of the freighters that are holding oil and supplies in the Strait of Hormuz. This is less than 36 hours after the country of Iran remapped the Strait of Hormuz in an internationally recognizable mapping and geographic clarification, just like the USA turned the Gulf of Mexico into the Gulf of America. Now, with Iran attempting to perform more controlling efforts in the Strait of Hormuz and with their attack on the ADCOP pipeline, this was built all the way back in 2012. Iran hit it quick and they hit it on purpose. When they attacked this pipeline, they knew that it was built for one reason, so that Abu Dhabi could continue to export almost 2 million barrels per day, even if the Strait of Hormuz was closed down. 500 kilometers of insurance policy, so that if the choke point of the Strait of Hormuz went down, you could still move oil around. Iran didn't choose to hit anything like a military or a strategic military target. They hit the rest of the Gulf's insurance policy. Saudi Arabia's east-west pipeline, the only major Hormuz bypass, was struck, losing almost 1 million barrels per day.
Get down. No.
We see this becoming a much larger event. And speaking of larger events, some of the breaking news that we have for you this morning is that Donald Trump just reiterated a nuclear Iranian claim with a little bit of a caveat. Donald Trump just said, if the nuclear material can ever even be recovered. Now we are seeing a push to send massive amounts of bunker busting bombs over to the region to basically cave in or completely demolish the areas that they say, we know by satellite, where the enriched uranium is. America was just given 2 options to wipe out Iran's nuclear capabilities. One of those is to completely delete the country of Iran. The other option is to go in with new strategic targets in mind, take out the remaining parts of the Iranian military, and wipe as much of the nuclear capabilities of that country out as possible. Now, we just got a assessment within the last 24 hours. That assessment that was given directly to the President of the United States of America said that Iran has the exact same timeline capabilities that they did June, July of last year. That is to say, if they're holding on to 60 plus percent enriched uranium, you've got 2 weeks, 30 days at max, until they can turn that into a nuclear bomb. Why do you think we took out their fighter jets? Not all of them, but a lot of them. Why do you think we took out a lot of their Navy? So that they could not one-way attack with a nuclear bomb. This was a little bit of an insurance policy for the USA, so that they have already put it together, which CIA operatives say that Iran has already put together a nuclear weapon, and it just got buried. If that was the case, they have no way to fly it, no way to sell it. Now, right now, at this moment, we're looking at just the beginning stages of this renewed ramp up. What is happening with Israel, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, the USA, the fact that we see NATO continuing, and even though Italy is freaking out, the Italian prime minister said, absolutely not, she does not want America to remove our assets from Italy. Even with these things taking place, this is just stage 2. This is going to be a multi-stage conflict. This is step 2 out of maybe a 10-step program here in which the United States of America reinvigorates dominance in a new global order. And they're hoping that that order follows through to shy China away from their part in World War III. A weakening U.S. dollar is increasing pressure on American households. This is raising the cost of everyday essentials and exposing a deep economic vulnerability. Its decline is a hidden tax. The dollar saw its sharpest 6-month drop, not in 1 or 2 years, folks, in over 50 years, 5 decades. A lot of our community here isn't even 5 decades old, me included, barely. So we see a remaining significant weakening standpoint. There is no stabilization on the larger scale. Multinational corporations are the ones that are benefiting with boosting profits and higher profit margins. These gains are disconnected from the struggles of everyday life. Small businesses are under continued strain. Anyone who relies on imports, including Walmart, with 80% of their store being imports, you see material cost and fuel costs being passed on to the consumer. For families, the impact is showing up in everyday expense. The dollar buys less. You guys know it today. That makes trips more expensive when the fuel is more expensive. Grocery prices are hiking. Look at coffee. I just went out and bought another 6 months worth of coffee because I like to make my strategic long duration emergency food plans item specific. So maybe yesterday I go out and I bought coffee, 6 months worth of it. Maybe next time I have a tranche to be able to purchase. I've saved up and I can go get rice. Maybe I'll buy another 6 months worth of rice at a time. And I really don't care about all the googly-eyed Karens that are looking at me at the aisle, and as I stack rice onto the cart. Why? Why would I care? That's exactly how I think about it. If anyone has the audacity to ask me, I'm a small business owner. I could be donating to a church. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. Mind your business. And I stack up food for my family. Now, economists say that the dollar is due for a disconnect. American households are the ones feeling the immediate effect of weaker dollar combined with global instability and rising energy costs due to data centers and what's it called when they push money? Subsidization. They're giving your tax money and free money over to data centers while the electricity companies charge you more. This is due to give the average American a very simple reality. Everything's going to keep costing more. The burden is going to fall hardest on those who can't afford it. Folks, let's go ahead and look at some of what we have happening around the world today. And here we have the U.S. auto loan crisis accelerating. The average amount owed by underwater.
Okay, we're going to get off from this one.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. It is May 6th, and you're watching Full Spectrum Survival. In this morning's breaking news broadcast, we have some video playing right behind me of so-called mysterious or more likely sabotage events that are taking place inside of Iran. I don't understand right now why Donald Trump, the president of the United States, has not admitted that the ceasefire is basically null and void. I know there's a time period that they don't want to accept a new operation that is an offensive operation taking place with Project Freedom. They've said that Epic Fury is all over with technically, but we're starting to see these actions take place, including Iran attacking multiple vessels inside of the Strait of Hormuz. We have the missiles that were fired at the United Arab Emirates in the last 72 hours, and new action that is about to take place between the USA, Israel, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and
we're going to cover some other things too, guys.
Let's go ahead and look at some of these potentially sabotaging events that are taking place. This is including an industrial fire. Here we have the largest producer of zinc, lead, copper, gold, and silver at a refinery inside of Kazakhstan. They just suffered their own potential link to sabotage with an explosion. Okay, listen to Marco Rubio. Now, this is a video showing the secretary saying what we just talked about at the beginning of this broadcast. Operation Epic Fury, technically over. This allows the United States of America to engage in a new military operation, which they have now dubbed Project Freedom. Project Freedom, they are saying, is a defensive-only operation, but here's what they have actually done. These ships that are moving and have gotten through the Strait of Hormuz have special forces on those ships. They have security groups from the U.S. military on those actual ships. They're doing this as a sort of honey trap for Iran. That if Iran then fires on these ships, they are in fact firing on U.S. forces. And by doing so, Iran will be the one to suffer all of the pain that comes after. Let's go ahead and listen to what Rubio has to say right here.
Operation Epic Fury is concluded. We achieved the objectives of that operation. I'm not going to, we're not cheering for an additional situation to occur. We would prefer the path of peace. What the president would prefer is a deal. He would prefer to sit down, work out a memorandum of understanding for future negotiations that touches on all the key topics that have to be addressed, a full opening of the strait so the world can get back to normal. And he prefers that be negotiated through the route that Steve and Jared have been working and that all of us have been supporting. That's the route he prefers. That is so far not the route that Iran has chosen. And so the result has been that the United States has to do something about the fact that we're the only nation on earth that can do anything to open up a lane within the Straits of Hormuz to get product and to rescue these people that are trapped in there.
Now, I will add that the United States, together with Israel, are the only countries that are so far willing to overtly engage in a military operation against the country of Iran. If you would have looked back a couple of years, I would have said that most of their warnings that a war with Iran will be a long-duration conflict, I would have said that that was hyperbole, not actually going to happen. Iran isn't that powerful. But because of their ability to control the Strait of Hormuz militarily, and because their service members and their citizens are so engaged in an extremist ideology, at least that's how it appears, Iran is a worthy opponent. Now, they are able to control that strait. The United States of America and Israel will be working to open it back up.
To ignore U.S. sanctions, could you also address that?
Now, this is scary. I've told you for a couple of days now, we have a real risk here. The risk is that China and other countries are looking at the United States of America as a nation that no longer has the ability to militarily back up its claims or its threats. And so if we start sanctioning these other countries, but the countries say we don't even care.
That's the kind of thing that could kick our butts.
China, we're trading with Russia, we're trading with all these countries in our own currencies or in gold and silver. Well, there's not much that the United States can do except drop bombs. And so the fact that we are seeing this expressed by Rubio right here tells you just how serious this is.
Well, I'll direct you to Treasury on that front. There are options that we have. If you ignore our sanctions, you're going to face secondary sanctions. And I don't have an announcement for you on that today, but we don't do these things, for symbolic purposes. On the first point about the visit, it's fine. I hope the Chinese tell him what he needs to be told. And that is that what you're doing in the Straits is causing you to be globally isolated. You're the bad guy in this. You guys should not be blowing up ships. You should not be putting mines. You should not be trying to hold hostage the global economy. I hope the Chinese bring, whether it's done privately, but I hope it's done directly, that's the message they deliver to them. As I outlined earlier today.
That's literally a pipe dream. See, because Iran just met with China. And in their meeting with China, they're not discussing China's strong hand to say, hey, listen, you've got to open back up the Strait of Hormuz. Actually, what's happening is China is emboldening Iran. America is concerned about this. The fact that we let China and Iran meet up in a time of international conflict, while China has already been caught sending the source material that is necessary for Iran to rebuild their missiles. They're sending them the source material to do this. And because of that, China is right now prepared to use Iran the very same way that the United States of America has used Ukraine and NATO has used Ukraine to fight Russia.
China is an export-driven economy. Okay, I'm not here to speak on behalf of what's in the best interest of China, but it's obvious. China is an export-driven economy. That means they depend on other countries to buy from them. Well, you can't buy from them if you can't ship it there, and you can't buy from them if your economy is being destroyed by what Iran is doing.
Okay, folks, this message is from the Iranian foreign minister saying that they reject what the United Arab Emirates has said. Now, there were missiles that were knocked down by Israeli and American technology, anti-missile defense shields. There were drones that were taken out of the sky. They all blamed Iran. Iran says, no, this was a false event led by the United States of America or Israel, two countries that they call the greatest evils in the world. Now, this message comes to say that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Islamic Republic condemns the destructive actions of the rulers of Abu Dhabi in collusion with warring parties against the Islamic Republic of Iran. We're
gonna skip ahead here. All right. This was this afternoon.
May the 6th, you're watching Full Spectrum Survival's Red Alert News. I want to get right into what the Department of War has said in a warning to the Iranians.
What remains of Iran's forces, if you attack American troops or innocent commercial shipping, you will face overwhelming and devastating American firepower. The president has been very clear about this. We prefer this to be a peaceful operation, but are locked and loaded to defend our people, our ships, our aircraft, and this mission without hesitation. To Iran, let innocent ships pass freely. These international waters belong to all nations, not to Iran to tax, toll, or control.
Now, that's an interesting warning because the Gulf of America, recently named the Gulf of Mexico, here in the United States region of operation, our area of control. If you had Iranian ships entering into the Gulf of America, you would see them blasted out of the water immediately. You would see massive amounts of armaments coming against them. And yet, Iran considers the Strait of Hormuz to be their Gulf of America. They say that they control the transit to and from because they have both sides under military control. And in this time of international conflict, they're not letting any of these hostage ships freely navigate through this area. In this morning's broadcast, and I'm going to ask you to go watch that if you haven't, Iran also won't fire on the ships that we have security personnel. And we're now making it known to them that we are putting our military forces on some of these ships so that if Iran does make the mistake of firing on them, they've actually just fired on American ships.
As a direct gift from the United States to the world, we have established a powerful red, white, and blue dome over the strait. American destroyers are on station, supported by hundreds of fighter jets, helicopters, drones, and surveillance aircraft, providing 24/7 overwatch for peaceful commercial vessels.
For the salary.
Except Iran's, of course.
I'm still
For anybody who doesn't know, and maybe we just need to talk about it more often, an overwatch position is somewhere that you can safely watch while other people engage in business. And during times of long duration conflict, whether it's civil unrest or a government that goes belly up, economic collapse, whatever it might be, world war, overwatch positions are something that you and your family are going to need to use in your survival group, because you're going to need someone to be able to actually control from a position that they are hitting all the goings on of what's going on down in the barter and trade region. So make sure that some of your family understands overwatch positions, that your group members understand it, and how you can safely navigate what is otherwise a very perilous time.
Which is why our ironclad blockade remains in full effect as well.
It's not in that
6
container.
ships tried to run the blockade out of Iranian ports.
Put it
as
in there.
Project Freedom commenced,
Put that in there
and they
with the
were all
dressing on it.
turned around.
That's going to have to go in the compost.
This is more than strategy, it's also humanitarian. By breaking Iran's illegal stranglehold, we're protecting the lives and livelihoods of sailors from dozens of countries.
The
Okay, this woman
the
wants
other
to
pieces
address
don't
this
have it
here in
on
the
there.
Great US of A to show that almost all the ingredients now in everything that has a package around it has the warning that says it now contains or may contain genetically modified organisms or ingredients.
That's awful.
I'm here at Aldi, and almost everything they have
Oh, no.
is their bioengineered food. So briefly.
It just goes on list to list, flipping bags and containers over, boxes over, to show that they all say that they contain these bioengineered ingredients.
All
So
these is
We're
terrible.
going to need to garden because this is going to be a big problem. We're going
Yep.
to see, according to some health experts, we're about to see an explosion of disease across an entire multi-generational field because they have added these materials into our food
Yep.
supply chain. It's not even a conspiracy. This
No.
is something that we have health experts that are in the university at the National Institute of Health saying that they don't understand what damages could actually be done, but because they're below certain thresholds, the food pyramid, you remember that, right? The food pyramid is supposed to be mostly grains, but you're supposed to actually go out and get those from your field. They expect people inside of America to only eat a boxed or packaged good for less than one meal per day. So every other meal that you eat is supposed to be, according to them telling you you're going to live a healthy life, supposed to be raw or well-cooked, fresh food from the field. Who's doing that inside of our country? Nobody.
Do you know, President Trump has directed U.S. Central Command to restart the free flow of commerce through the Strait of Hormuz under the umbrella of Project Freedom.
The red, white, and blue umbrella. Somebody in a recent video, one of our commenters said, "Brad, could you show some more information about the global airlines canceling their flights?" It looks like Spirit Airlines may not be the only airlines that's going to suffer an economic collapse because of this long duration conflict. We have airlines cutting 2 million seats and 12,000 flights worldwide over the course of the last 2 weeks, reducing the total available seats to 130 million. Turkish Airlines, Air China, Lufthansa, all of them, Delta,
Doesn't
all
take much to
canceling
walk
airlines.
outside and put it in the compost.
Massive changes coming. Iran
That's
threw a new
gross.
line saying that we are warning all vessels that intend to transit the strait. The only safe route to pass through the Strait of Hormuz is the corridor previously announced by the Iranian Navy. The vessels that divert this are unsafe and will face a decisive response from Iranian military guard. Now, I just read a ship's captain in the area, and they said how they're being told to operate in the region from Iran is either a direct text messages or a
Please don't do
secure
that again.
email giving them a proof and printed confirmation. So they want these captains to say, okay, I just got confirmation from the guard. I paid my $1 or $2 million tax. They pay a permit tax just to make that one trip. $1 or $2 million USD. They get a printable confirmation. The guard will still come to their ship. They'll board their ship. They'll find that confirmation. They'll relay it back to the IRGC. The IRGC will either give a yes, go ahead, or a no, they didn't give this confirmation. Then they'll either be seized at the site or fired upon
This is getting low
or
too.
allowed to transit. So this is piracy on the high seas happening
This
right now.
is gonna be
Speaking of what
only
happens if you don't get your AOK, this is the
Please.
target of a major oil tanker
This
near
stuff
one of
is
the regions of Iran.
easier to buy Herbalife. Money-wise.
Now, let me tell you, these extremist groups that are operating these acts
I
of
actually want to get
piracy,
into this for the
they
long
would rather see all the oil burned into the ocean, all of these supplies completely ruined, ships full of fertilizer blown up in the sea, than let them pass without paying their respect or their toll. The United States of America is following suit with a global commerce plan. This is footage of a Ukrainian heavy cruise missile slamming into a military electronics plant. In accordance with YouTube guidelines, no casualties in this film. Now, guys, this is exactly what I tell you. That here in the USA, even while drones are flying overhead, hitting police officer locations, hitting government buildings, hitting water tanks, that's one of our most vulnerable areas. And that's why I tell everyone, please get your water in order. Because those large water reservoirs that you see in major cities across our country, those could be damaged with just one drone. Blown open, all the water spills out. Now, entire cities don't have access to safe drinking water. Have your water situations under lock and key. Make sure you have a way to filter nearby water from ponds or streams. This is part of Survival 101, especially in the year 2026. Do you have
I want to get those straws that
to be able to take
Doug and Stacy have
distill out all the chlorine and have safe
to
drinking
filter and
water,
structure
maybe
their
you just run for
water.
a secondary filter anyways, just to be safe. You have to also consider inorganic compounds and organic compounds from waterways. Okay, we'll cover this in another broadcast right here. Listen to Trump.
I will say that one way or the other, we have one thing. They will never have a nuclear weapon. And
Mr. President, you've killed a lot of their leaders. Do you think you have to kill the D team as well? Because we're down to the D team or the E team or the X team. I don't even know who's running the country.
For that job, they have. We knocked out their first team. We knocked out their second team. We knocked out half of their third team. A lot of people are looking for that job, but
Donald Trump is, of course, doubling down on the fact that there will be no allotment of an Iranian nuclear capable country. So we're going to have to send troops in, according to the military, to be able to pull out, and that's going to be a large operation. You're talking about deep underground military bunkers where the radiation was stored. They've already blasted all of the mountainous regions apart. It's buried. You'll have to send in excavators. You have to send in the International Atomic Energy Agency. You'll have to have third parties. You have to have the okay of the Iranians, or else you'll have the Iranians going to these sites and laying fire against all of our military.
My body is. I mean, I can tell how bad my body is.
That they're waiting for there is a release of radiological.
It's like you don't realize it until you can't eat for a couple of days, and then it's like once you can start taking in nutrients, it's like you just want to suck it down.
This radiological material will not become aerosolized in further conflict. It will not be gathered by extremist groups or rogue elements, and we will be able to control and further contain the situation. So that's one of those things that I'm watching out for, folks. Every day we have the honor of scrolling so that you and your family don't have to. Please make sure you share this video, x.com, Facebook, text, and email. Type this video if you see the option to, and please stay safe. Make sure you're subscribed here to Full Spectrum Survival on YouTube, and until tomorrow morning's broadcast, keep watch.
All right. I think I'll do another live. We're going to check in on this a little bit.
Hopefully, and with a smile on your face, do you do exactly what you're told? And the data centers will help them manage every single person's credit score. From the flock cameras that watch you driving 3 miles per hour, maybe they won't give you a ticket for it, right? But the camera notes that you drove 3 miles per hour over the speed limit. That goes into your good boy or good girl score. Turns you into a bad boy or bad girl. The fact that you walked across the street does it too. Did you hold the door open for somebody? Did you offer to help somebody who was sitting down or who was laying on the ground? Did you give a certain number of community hours to better other people in your community? The government won't have to. It will be expected of you. Do you pay all of your taxes? Do you smile and say thank you when somebody does something for you? Every aspect of your life will be tokenized digitized, categorized, and demonetized. And so these data centers, which almost everywhere across the country, all of the citizens are packing into these city council meetings and begging and screaming, and in some cases threatening. And they're all saying, no, we don't want
Sure
that.
drink that.
In some of those cases, the council members, and I just saw this happen in the last 24 hours, too many people showed up to say no. So the council members took the public meeting and went into another conference room and then televised that meeting to all the citizens that showed up. Why? So they couldn't do a darn thing about it. So they are building.
That's how they're going to push
our
these
own
data centers through.
demise. And while they build it and while they make it work, you and I have to pay for it. We pay it in our taxes and our increased electricity and the government subsidies that they give. We're at the end game. This is make it or break it time for our country. Unfortunately, I think it's break it time for a lot of people. I just saw that foreclosures is skyrocketing. The debt repossession levels are increasing. The courts are working not at your behest. You see, the court doesn't care if you get into an apartment for the rest of your life and lose the house that's been in your family for 2 generations. Why would they care? They're not here for you. The courts will back up the laws that have been through not the most political dealings created. And these laws are meant to buffer you from their system and from the corporate mechanisms that are meant to keep you a servant for the rest of your life. A credit score is absolute manipulative garbage.
Yep.
When you pay off debt, meaning you have money to pay off the debt, your credit score goes down. So you do what is better for yourself, and you're viewed as less by those in power. This is how American, right now, for the last 30 years, 40 years, credit scores have worked. It should be that you pay off your debt, and every bank should look at you and say, you know what, we've got a good payer here. Let's go ahead and roll them into a new boat. Let's roll them right into a second house. Instead, they say that this person paid off their debts before we could accrue 30 years worth of their interest payment. And they won just a little bit. We can't let them win again. We've got too many other suckers over here. So let's go ahead and lower their credit score. The rest of the banks will look at them and say, they're not worth it. This is a system against you. And it's going to continue to be that way for a very long time until the ashes
I
of
never
this
thought
place
about it that
get
way.
rebuilt.
That actually makes me mad.
More power.
So you know what? Screw them. I ain't gonna worry about it.
In 38 states. Not combined, but it will use more power than all of the power used in any one of 38 different states. The data center campus portion of it is, I believe, 18 million square feet. It will sit on a piece of ground that is 5 square miles.
It's really no coincidence to me. If you look at the top part of this image here,
Really?
that the sky view, the aerial view, up in an airplane, of all of these data centers, very similarly
Stop getting
resemble
upset about it.
microchips and processing chips. Inside of your computer, this is what they look like. And the reason, according to the mathematicians, that they are trying to do this is because that will, just like your computer system needs all of those different processing parts and memory parts to be able to connect together on one grid. The reason that they're putting these across the entire country is so that they will connect to one grid and create the world's largest computer. They're not going to use it to cure cancer. They're not going to. Come back here. Please come back here and tell me, Brad, you were wrong. Cancer is no longer a thing in 2027. Because they could do it today. You're telling me that it was more important for them to inject people with a purchased. Hold on a second. Just get this through your head for a second, in my head for a second. Maybe I'm thinking about this the wrong
Wow,
way.
people, really?
They gave people government subsidized injections for that last event that happened. It's free. You could go get it. Go get your injection. The government's
No, I
paying
guess
for it.
there's
It's free.
not.
Because
too.
it was more important to keep people alive than to let them die.
Really, Cat?
Why isn't chemotherapy or curative medicine free? Why, if you really want to get the level of care that politicians get, are you out $30,000 a month? Why aren't you important then?
I don't even feel
Explain
like
that to
doing
me for a
dishes, but I
second.
know I've got to.
If it was so important to keep the people healthy and alive that the government subsidized these corporate pharmaceutical agencies to give you free injections, then why isn't the other medicine that will keep you healthy alive? Why doesn't every
Yeah,
family
like
get a
natural
delivery of
medicines.
a lab that lets you see what your nutrients are deficient in, and then they send you boxes of nutrients every month? Their game was never to keep you healthy.
Nope.
It was never to keep you happy.
It was to
Their
kill you
game
off.
was to use you
Mhm.
for as long as they can, and they hope that that lasts 60 years. And that's why they
What are you
made
doing?
the great old retirement scheme. And that retirement scheme was that if you work your behind off, stressing your body, stressing your mind, and if you work for them for 60 years, you'll get to just live free and happy the rest of your life. You won't believe the amount of fun you'll be able to have when you hurt just walking upstairs at 65, 70 years old. You won't be able to believe
My
the amount of
toothpick.
good times you'll have. Not back when you could actually run and party and have fun and do things that your body didn't hurt for a month. But when you're 65 after living your whole life indebted to them, you just can't believe the amount of fun that you'll be able to have. Except that also was a lie. All right, let's see what else we've got going on out here.
Meta's new $27 billion AI data center is causing chaos in a small town in Louisiana. In February, I flew down to Louisiana, to Richland Parish, a rural county where Meta is building a mega AI data center. Just to put it in perspective for you, this AI data center is 4 million square feet, 2,250 acres. That's roughly 70 football fields. When I was in Richland Parish, I spoke to over a dozen residents and really got to hear their concerns. People are talking about how their rents are going up because there are thousands of workers coming from out of state, staying in these massive RV parks. I also spoke to local businesses that are suffering. While there are definitely businesses that are making money hand over fist, you're also finding small businesses that are struggling because they can't get in with the right people or get the right catering jobs for the Meta workers on site, for example. And then you're also just seeing a tremendous amount.
That's about all I can stand of her voice, but she is definitely on the right track. That this is a game that is not meant to have you win. Foreclosure filings just hit a 6-year high. Rising property taxes, that's another thing. Oh my gosh, I can't even get off on that. I can't even get started on that. If we do, we're going to go off on a whole nother tangent. Insurance costs, debt strains. Here's some of that fire out of Arizona. Does anybody know if this fire in Arizona DPS, a Hazen fire near Buckeye, Arizona? Let's just ask, just on a, let's just see. Is there a data center proposal for this area? I don't know if there is or not, but I do see this happening all across the country. Yes. This is like a bad sitcom. So we just looked at this fire, right? This one right here. Arizona DPS Air Rescue Rangers returning from the Hazen fire near Buckeye, Arizona. So I asked, is there a data center that they're planning for this area? Yes. There are multiple active and proposed large-scale data center projects in the area. Do you know what happens to property values as soon as a wildfire goes through? They go down. Do you know who benefits from property values going down? The people who want to come in and buy it.
All right.
So if a data center wants to come in and buy a large swath of land, and I'm not, okay.
Be on the lookout for these data centers, you guys. Fight against them as much as possible.
Back to them. Not that this is a conspiracy or anything. And not that I think every corporation is evil. But what I do see happening all too often is these bad events, whether it's tornadoes, hurricanes, wildfires, they're looking to take advantage of your bad times every time.
Yep.
That's why estate law even exists. When they have their house paid off, they die. The government's there like, hey, hold on a second. You want to sell that? You got to pay me. You got to tally up all this other stuff. We got to make sure all these boxes are checked first. And that's the government. But these corporations are looking at all of these things happening. It's not even capitalism, Nathan. We're in corruptionism. We've surpassed capitalism. Capitalism means that the market will be set and competed against. Capitalism doesn't mean that 4 processors will control the entire market and they'll compete amongst themselves without letting anybody else into the market because they have priced out everybody else's ability. They have contracts that price out anyone even getting into the market unless you're their scale. This is corruption, not capitalism, unfortunately. I believe in capitalism. It works. But every time it turns to corruption. So we're kind of in that cycle right now where we've gone from capitalism, where, Fritos, right? Corn chips. Fritos was a capitalist industry. It was just one guy who bought the stand, if I'm remembering this right, who bought the stand off a street seller in the recipe and then had the money to be able to compete in multiple areas. But Frito-Lay, the mega corporation, is something totally different. The idea is there, the idea is right, but the way it's been abused is wrong. And this is just getting started, unfortunately.
Ooh. Ooh. I can't help but say that,
Can't easily turn it down, so.
This is New York City, the great
Go
old
figure.
US of A. Thank goodness that they bleeped out all the curses so I don't have to. Law
Cinnamon.
enforcement activity taking place there.
Cinnamon!
Investigating a shooting this evening that occurred at approximately 9 o'clock. There's a party at Lake Arcadia. Edmond police along.
Okay, here's what we were talking about at the beginning of this broadcast. Listen close.
We're gonna hit the Twin Towers, 9/11.
You were in New York.
I was in Manhattan when it happened. I saw those buildings on fire. That's what happens when you say the Middle East isn't our problem. We don't care. So the radical Islamists will come to the big Satan, to Manhattan, to California, to America, but with nuclear ballistic missiles. And by having Israel, you do not need to send hundreds of thousands of boots on the ground because we Israelis are 10 million boots on the ground always here. This aircraft carrier called Israel.
Thank you so much, Justin R2767. I appreciate your love of the community in the super chat.
It's not going anywhere. We're here to stay.
Okay. So I'm not gonna like let that whole thing go. We're already over an hour. Yeah. So once again, we're getting very, very close to things really going down. If you have not got your garden I almost said planned, started, please be working on that. I have to go through our seeds. One of the things I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to get connected with the platforms that I can sell my higher priced paintings on. Yeah. I did apply at Marco's again tonight for a driver because they're actually advertising for it. So we'll see. And they have new management, and they said they need like at least 2 or 3 drivers, so the hours should be better. So we'll see. You know, I know what I want to do, but in the end it's what God wants. So yeah. I mean, it's really hard to elaborate on a lot of this stuff because there's just so much going on. I guess the biggest thing there's going to be a lot of job loss. Not good. The biggest thing is to get ready. Get your homesteads going, get your homestead planned, get your gardens planned. You know, get seeds. You can go to Dollar Tree and buy seeds for, I think they're like 3 for $1.50 or something like that, or 3 for $1.25. But you can buy seeds there, and they're heirloom seeds, which is what you want. Meijer has them. Walmart has seeds. Now they're more per packet, but it's worth the money. And then I recommend going to awkwarddougandstacy.com and go to So Right Seeds. You get a 15% discount for ordering seeds through them. Let's see. Go to their shop tab. And down towards the bottom, you will find So Right Seeds. Click on that and order your seeds through them, and you will get a 15% discount. You can also get Redmond Real Salt through their shop tab. They have they sponsor some other places too. So, but get jars. I mean, if you have to can, get a water bath canner, get a pressure canner, get books that will teach you how to do both. You know how to do both. What you can water bath can, what you have to pressure can, how to do it. Make sure you follow it step by step for food safety. If you can ferment, though, ferment because it's better to have live food. Stock up on Redmond Real Salt. I mean, I'm not preaching to the choir here. I have to do the same thing. But, like, we've had all sorts of money issues, and, you know, I'm not using that as an excuse. It's just, you know, that's the reason we've moved too much, for one. I was starting to get established, and then had to leave because Doofus was here. But hello.
How are you?
All right. Sorry I couldn't answer the phone earlier. I was on a DoorDash delivery when you called earlier.
How much did you make today?
About $30 some, and I need like about 60.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What delivery was it today?
I had like 4 Marco's orders.
What's that?
I had 3 or 4 Marco's pizza orders, and then I had one from McDonald's earlier. Will you guys?
The cats again?
Please get down. Here's my baby. My cupcake. My baby cupcake. Here's my little
What
cupcake.
was that one?
Calico.
Oh.
The orange and the black and the white.
Yep. Uh-huh.
She pretty. She almost has calico cow spots.
She likes
Yeah.
She's a purry kitty. So is Panda.
Yeah.
Panda's black and white though. That's why I named him Panda.
Yeah.
But oh, well, that guy.
Where did the calico cat come from?
That was out of Cinnamon's litter that she had. I think I might start working on some gardening videos, you guys. We're starting to get reestablished as a homestead, but we're basically working from the bottom up again just because everything basically got torn down and stopped because we had to leave and Doofus was still here.
Stolen or destroyed.
Yeah, basically stolen or destroyed. There's a cat on that screen. Let's see if there's a hike button in that video. Nope, it doesn't give it on this one.
What's that?
Oh, I was looking for a hype button on
Good afternoon, everyone.
Oh.
Really? There we go. Yeah, there's definitely a cat on the screen.
Cat? Or what?
The screen thing in the living room.
Yeah.
It will scream.
Who put a cat on there?
They climb up there.
Oh, they got it there?
Because there's once again, Tim. Tim did a number on some of the stuff in the house too.
Who did?
Tim.
Yeah, what about?
There's a piece of old garden fence on the inside of the living room door, the one that doesn't open. Because Doofus cut out the two of the longest middle pieces in the door. He thought that would be a good idea. Yeah. Because he was letting people stay here and they were sleeping in the living room and he wanted to be able to keep an eye on them. So he just basically destroyed the door. I mean, not totally, but
You said living room door?
the one that doesn't open. He cut two pieces out of it and put a piece of garden fence over it on the inside because he's an idiot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get into doing some gardening videos to give you guys, I mean, like probably some beginner gardening videos to get you guys started. Very proud of Chloe. Her and Zach are, well, probably with the help of his dad, they are getting an area ready to be able to plant a garden. So, very proud of her. Makes me feel really good that, you know, she has taken the initiative and the responsibility that needs to be taken because of everything that's going on. You know, it's like, I know they'll be okay, and God will take care of them. I know they'll be okay because they start planting their own food, they'll be okay. Now they just need to build up that homestead. Oh, man.
You miss your daughter?
Of course.
They wasn't wishing no more, right?
Nope, they live in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm. They're getting married in July.
Yep, July 18th.
We're not asking, and we never asked America to fight for us. We're fighting right now in the air together. We can defend ourselves.
Can you though?
Huh.
I want to get to that tactical view on another time. Come on, Bill, let me see it.
In Spain, they just legalized the residence of 500,000 illegal aliens. In France, they throw grenades into hair salons in a broad daylight. In Germany, not a single day goes by without someone being murdered with a knife. In Sweden, for example, you have bomb attack every other day. I can continue, but you just don't care. Those are not real problems for the European left-wing politicians. No, you are going to solve the situation in Minnesota. You are seriously discussing.
I didn't want that video to close off. It's a live that Full Spectrum is doing. I was playing part of it on my live. Why does it sound like they're playing with paper towels? If the paper towels aren't where they're supposed to be, they're going to be playing with them. If that's what they were doing, then I have really good hearing because I'm sitting out here in the kitchen. Were they playing with the paper towels?
They weren't.
Sounded like it.
It was going on your desk. When I sneezed and it hurt.
I know.
Hurt that spot again.
Stupid cat. Ooh. What the hell? Okay, why?
I'm gonna put this over here
That's
for
my shoulder.
right now, okay?
Like I said, it needs to be taken
I
care
will
of.
wash it.
Really? West Saginaw Meyer, $15.52. Only $1.60 tip. Yeah, I don't think so. Excuse me, Panda. You have a bad habit of doing that. Get down, please. Like taking a running jump up onto my lap. Because he's a cat and he likes doing that. Right. You don't have to teach your cat something like that. Oh, apparently it's busy. Downtown. Anyway, so there's a lot going on. Main thing is get your gardens going, get your seeds, get ready to plant, grow your own food. It's very imperative. If you have the room, if you can manage it, with chickens, even if you have to buy a small coop or, ow, dang it, cat, stop it. Wait. It's Panda. No, he had his claws on my leg. Either, no, he had his claws on my leg. Yes. If you, because he's a cat.
Yeah.
But if you can manage it for eggs, and even, you can even grow a small garden for your chickens to feed your chickens. I mean, that's going to have to be something that's going to have to be done anyway. Grid down situation. That's cool.
She's using a pool liner to put them in.
That's cool. Like a kiddie pool?
Pool liner.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. I know if you did you. Oh. We only have 9 chickens. We're supposed to be getting some more. But, we have the 5 acres. I'm hoping to be able to, that we can get what we need before everything falls apart.
What do you do with that barn?
That barn is basically no good. I'm going to have to basically take pieces of it and use it to help build stuff that we need to build.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Just do what you have to get started with your homesteads, your gardens, and to get ready to fend for yourself, because that's what you're going to have to do. You stop it. I don't have stuff for you. Because you smell my salad on my fingers. Go away. I love you, but go away. Stop trying to eat my fingers. Hand up. He's a brat. He's purring. Will you stop? Quit. I'm gonna get the spray bottle out. Yeah, it's just really important, you guys. And on a different note, if you guys want anything that we have available in the store or that I can do fairly quickly, t-shirts, the glasses, homemade soaps, I have those. The crocheted dish rags. I don't have a lot of stuff right now. I do have a few things. You too. Bye. You guys just let me know and I will get it to you. But you know, do what you have to get started on what you need to so you guys can make it, you know? But I'm going to go ahead and get off from here since we're almost at an hour and a half. And the other video that I was going to do, I will do with another live. Probably Friday. Maybe. I might do one Sunday night. Maybe. I don't know. Or wait until Monday. No, today's Wednesday. Just stop. Stop. Get off me. I love you, but stop eating my fingers. Will you stop trying to eat my fingers? Anyway, yeah. This cat is driving me crazy. What is your deal, mister? You smell food and you think you have to have it. See our little panda. He's such a booger. All right, get out. All right. Anyway, I'm going to get off from here. Get your homestead started, you guys. Do that research. Get those homesteading books. Remember to like and share the videos. Share them on all your platforms, with all your friends, whatever. With everybody you know. Just get them out there. And get those gardens planned. Get your homestead started. Just do what you do what you can. Do what you have to. Buddy. This cat is driving me nuts. He's cute and he's all purry, but he's driving me crazy. Yeah, just get going on what you need to. Get some prepping going. You know, get rice, beans, canned foods, home canned foods if you can. Get your canners, you know, get your books. Okay, get down. Would you stop? You are being obnoxious. Why are you being so obnoxious? Would you stop? What is your deal? Huh? Get down. I love you, but you're being obnoxious. Would you quit? My gosh, cat. All right. Anyway, I'm going to get off from here. And I will see you guys in the next video, which will be tomorrow for sure. Would you stop it? It'll be tomorrow for sure. And you guys have a good night and get everything going. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.